Welcome to the Success Sensei podcast for anyone interested in success, happiness, and balance. We'll teach you how to be a black belt at life. And now, your host, former professional fighter, multiple world champion, entrepreneur, and investor, Robert Devane.
Bowing in. This is Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei, helping you to win at life one kick and punch at a time. Episode 238. The grass is always greener on the other side. Welcome to the main event.
It's the Success Sensei podcast main event.
The grass is always greener on the other side. There's something inbuilt in all of us that no matter where we are at in life, that we think that we could be happier or that we should be happier. Does that ring a bell? It's unfortunately and cruelly inbuilt in all of us to be thinking like that the grass is always greener on the other side. So if I just had this, I would be more satisfied. Or if I had just done that, I would be happier. Beware of attaching happiness to things because they come and go, and you will still go on to experience the full range of human emotions, happiness and unhappiness. So forgive yourself for your emotions and for the ups and downs. Accept that the temporary emotions are both good and bad, and try to be happy in general. Even when unhappy, it is possible to have an underlying theme of happiness, even when you are experiencing tough times. The SAS and elite military personnel around the world are taught to inject humour into tough situations in order to avoid a spiralling negative mindset, which could absolutely negatively affect their physical situation. And in other words, they could get shot or get killed or get into a negative downward spiral or depression, which ultimately could cost them their lives. So injecting humour is certainly a good way of doing it. Fighting is the same. You can't allow yourself to get into that type of a mindset, or you're ultimately beating yourself up. There's many people that, you know, they purchase a new car within 2 weeks. You know, at the start you buy a car and then, you know, no one's allowed to eat or drink in your car, and then after a few weeks, you know, that starts to go, and then you wish you had bought another car, a faster car, more expensive car. You look at other cars more longingly and the shine goes off your new car. A friend of mine I was talking to only today had built a nice shed, you know, men and their sheds, built a nice big shed, and told me only today that, you know, he'd love to knock it down and he should have really built a bigger shed. This is inbuilt in all of us to not be satisfied, or that you wish you had more expensive clothes or more exotic holidays and vacations. It's inbuilt all of us, this temporary, we might get a temporary blast of happiness, but then to long for something more and to be dissatisfied, and basically to think that the grass is always greener on the other side, that maybe other people have it easier than you have it. We can all think like that. And a lot of the time, you know, if we had a big social experiment and everybody gathered up all their problems and we threw it into one big bowl, if you asked the majority of people, they would probably tell you that they would take their own problems back and not actually want to swap with the problems of other people. So the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but we tell ourselves and we trick ourselves that it is. Chasing happiness isn't always the way to go either, because delayed gratification greatly helps you to feel happier and more positive for your future, knowing that you have prepared. So, if people said, what would make you happy? What would you like to do today? What would make you happy? There could be future consequences. You might want junk food for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, because that gives you instant gratification. That makes you happy. But ultimately, you're going to pay the price in long term. And ultimately, it could lead to a lot of unhappiness. So chasing happiness on a day-to-day basis mightn't be the answer. Being a father has helped me to see the conundrum of the grass is always greener, because kids definitely keep you more in the present tense. They do and are growing so fast that it would be very easy to be wishing for more instead of simply enjoying and celebrating each moment. I've said it before, the best years of your life that you are probably too tired to fully appreciate, and you don't recognize that fact until you reflect back, and by then it's too late. So here's a few tips about, the grass is always greener on the other side. Strive for more, absolutely, but not to the detriment of appreciating what you have. Curb your jealousy. Stop comparing. Unnecessary competition is unnecessary. Now, coming from a competitive background, I had to put that one in, unnecessary competition, because sometimes competition is necessary. So not all competition is bad, but you know what I mean. Unnecessary competition is unnecessary. Practice gratitude. Accept that you can't be happy all of the time, and be happy about that. Detach from the material possessions will equal happiness cycle, because it doesn't always, and then you're constantly thinking of the next thing. So once again, just to go over those, strive for more, but not to the detriment of appreciating what you have. Don't make yourself miserable on a daily basis striving for more. Absolutely appreciate what you have, and then still see where you can get, see what you can attain, see what you can achieve. But it doesn't have to come from a place of misery. You can still strive for more and be happy. The next one was curb your jealousy. We all know we need to do that. We all know it's wrong to be jealous. We all know that there's no positive outcome within ourselves or our relationship with that person either. So, just curb it, just stop it. The next one, stop comparing. Needless comparing, comparing via social media. It's unavoidable, so catch yourself doing it and try to avoid it and manage it as best you can. Unnecessary competition is unnecessary. Don't be drawn. It's like comparison. Don't be drawn into comparing. Don't be drawn into competing. Don't be doing things based on what you think other people are going to think, or trying to impress other people, or trying to keep up with them. If it's not necessary competition, don't do it. Keep your competing for times that are necessary, e.g. sports or business or any of those areas that could positively bring out the best in you and your opponents, by the way. Practice gratitude. You should, on a daily basis, think about what, not constantly thinking about what you're lacking and what you could have or should have, but actually taking a couple of minutes to acknowledge what you do have, what you have done, and just to be thankful, because it helps in the process, so you're not always in a negative mindset, in a lacking type of a mindset that thinks the grass is always greener on the other side. The second last one is accept that you can't be happy all of the time. So in other words, be happy about not being able to be happy all of the time. Make peace with that, and it makes the process a hell of a lot easier. Detach from the cycle of material possessions will equal happiness, because you'll always want the next thing, the bigger thing, the better thing, the more expensive thing. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Maybe it's just a different shade. Maybe your neighbour thinks your grass is greener than theirs. Maybe you simply have to tend to the garden you already have. Thank you for listening. I'm Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei. Life is a fight you can enjoy and win. Bowing out.
This has been the Success Sensei, fighting the winning fight. So add us, subscribe, like, and comment. Keep those hands up and keep moving forward.